Hey Brickmaniacs, welcome back to another Friday Sit Rep. Let's talk a little bit more about Project Ukraine, an endeavor that since its launch has seen an incredible response from the AFO community. So proud of you guys, so amazing to see everyone come together and support something like this, people donating their knowledge, their time, just to make this as an effective campaign as possible. And we are very proud to say that our initial donation cleared $5,000 to the International Red Cross, which will go directly to help people in Ukraine. Now, as we continue this project moving forward, you will see that we'll have more things appearing in that donations category. Proceeds from those will continue to be compounded upon that initial donation. We will continue to update that on those product pages as we move forward, so you guys can help keep track of that total. We'll also post it on social media, etc. Quick note though on some of those kits as we move forward with this project. The more, obviously we want to keep them in stock so that people can continue to make that donation and we can continue to get that money where it needs to go. However, that does mean that we are constantly reworking our production schedule in order to make room for these kits. And so those pre-order dates are very tentative. The April 22nd deadline, I believe, is the one that we've had on there in the past. That is like the earliest possible for the initial, maybe first batch. The rest of them we're going to have to continue to slate as we get further along in production. So please bear with us, bear with our customer service department and all that as we try to move this campaign along as quickly as possible to get these products available as quickly as possible so that we can get that money going where it needs to go as quickly as possible. But obviously that means that we still have to figure out a way to actually produce them as well. So please be patient with us. Same with the minifigures. We're going to do the best we can to have all that stuff out the door on its way when it needs to be, while making it as an effective campaign as possible, like I said. So that note from me. Otherwise, let's dive on in, take a look at what's new on brickmania.com this week. All right, we're kicking things off with our featured pre-order. We have the new F-35B Lightning II designed by Dan Siskin, kind of completing that trio as he went back through and reworked that series. So we have this now available on pre-order, and Dan is here to talk a little bit more about the ridiculous amount of play features that this build has. I mean, you can see it all opened up. It's incredible.
Right, we're starting with everything opened up. So yeah, this is like the kind of the culmination of, this is the third in the series that the second I've gotten to work on. Mm-hmm. But it's now we have all three actually available for the first time ever, mm-hmm. of all the three Lightning variants. We did put one of these out. It was one of our first licensed kits actually. Yep. And then we wanted to do, rework them, because it was done in a hurry. We kind of like wanted to get a better sense of like, hey, let's redo these a little bit more detailed.
Well, and you learn things doing the other ones, I suppose, too.
Right, yeah. And the thing is the person who designed the original Lightning, original F-35, that was Cody. He also designed the C model, mm-hmm. and that was a real leap ahead in model building. There's definitely standards that the bar was raised, and we have to continue with that. So, but this is like kind of the culmination of that. I took the best parts of all the other models that we had, and tried to put my own take on it, which usually just means making it as strong as it can be, make it playable, and still make it function. Mm-hmm. So I think I managed to get most of that. There's always a trade-off. There's always you're going to be sacrifice some strength for cost and some playability. But I think I did a pretty good job. The one thing we're not seeing here is that there's no printed parts on this yet.
There's no stickers on this build at all, which is crazy.
Not a sticker in sight, but there's also a lot of printed pieces that aren't done yet. This is still the prototype model. The guys are in the process of printing right now. So by the time this is out, this will be pretty cool.
Usually you can tell why something's piloted by a ninja here at Brickmania. That's your giveaway that it is a prototype model still.
So we do have the Ninja in here. This guy has the last, and all the F-35 pilots we've done have a gray helmet. Mm-hmm. And the Marines now are flying with white helmets.
White, yeah.
And the one thing about this minifigure, we're doing this for, this is Women's History Month, mm-hmm. and we actually have a female pilot. And in fact, there is only one. I mean, maybe there's more now, but at the time there was only one Lightning mm-hmm. F-35 pilot in the Marine Corps, at least up until a year ago. Mm-hmm. So now that's who we're doing. We're not going to put any person's name on there because we're not.
But still a cool.
We're honoring the idea, honoring the person, but without honoring the actual person because mm-hmm. We don't have actual permission to do that. So, but This has all the features of the F-35. I'm starting out with it all kind of like in the vertical takeoff mode or vertical landing mode right now. So all the hatches are open. It does what it's supposed to do. So we'll get this canopy back down. Oops, pushed down too far. And I'll button it all up right now. So
well, let's see the rear engine when it's deployed real quick.
Oh,
if
yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool, because that thing just looks awesome. When
it is down. It does articulate. So, it does what you'd expect.
That's cool.
So we'll pick this up here. I'll pick it up by the wings to demonstrate the durability. There are a lot of open hatches on the bottom here, so that does make it for a little bit tricky to pick it up without knocking a hatch off. And one of the sort of frustrating aspects of previous editions of this was the fact that these hatches and stuff on the bottom were so fragile. I went through and wherever possible doubled the number of connections on them. So like
Nice.
these hatches for the missile bays here, the weapons bays, they're actually there are 2 points of articulation, 2 points of connection. So they do close up and open up real nicely without having the fear of like crushing them in or breaking them off all the time. It's not perfect, it's not ideal, but it still works. It works. It's a lot sturdier than previous editions.
Cool.
All these like little fan doors, they all open and close the way they should. And you got the one on the top here. Let's see the top fan. What you're missing is all the printing, which is kind of a shame. I did steal some other tiles from like
you can see how it's going to integrate.
The previous whatever I could that was previously done from the other Lightnings, but there's so many more printed parts. I think you can see half of this rondelle here on the side of the intake here, or the side of the fuselage, right here. There's only half of it printed on here. That was just a test to see if we could do it. But there will be a really cool 4-piece printed. It's like cross-edge printing on here. It'll have the tail. It'll actually look very similar to the previous one as far as like unit markings and stuff like that go. Look at this top thing close up. So here it is, more just in landing mode.
Yes.
The landing gear do fold up. It's a little bit of a chore, but it does fold up. They stow away. And I did retain the connection for the stand. I did not put a stand in here because it was already like, it's getting up there in price. And
Keep the cost reasonable.
And we also just released the instructions for it. So if you wanted to get the Brickmania aircraft display stand, it will work with this. It does
And there's
have
a
the connection in there.
link on the product page for
Right.
that should you want to download those instructions.
But the landing gear doors do open, and you can stow away the landing gear. It's not like an impossible task. It's just, I haven't done it in a while. I'm afraid to do it on camera without breaking it.
It's all right. This one's still got to land anyways.
Right. So we'll set it on its feet until we get a stand. Put it on its landing gear.
So I know we've got tail markings. We've got obviously markings along the sides of the fuselage, and then there's some cool cockpit and like rescue.
Right, all the stuff on
portion
the
details, too,
outside
for
of the
the top.
cockpit here. Those are all printed. I was able to salvage some of that stuff from the previous versions.
Cool.
I mean, it's very similar to the Air Force version that we just put out.
Okay.
There will be rondelles on the wings and stuff. It says Marines on it. We just don't have them printed yet.
Cool.
Tail markings. Doesn't have any unit markings. It does have the one tail that it's a green knight. So that's on there, but otherwise. We didn't put a specific aircraft, like a specific a serial number or anything like that on it. So you'll have to do that yourself.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's it. This is. I'm happy to have been able to work on this one. It was something I've been watching from afar for a while. Did get to work on the A model. Was a project manager in that, and that gave me some insight on what I could do to make this thing a little bit even better. Happy to work on it. Happy to pass on the torch of being the third person to put out an F-35 from Brickmania.
Well, very, very cool. And now available on pre-order on brickmania.com, the new F-35B. Dan, thanks for checking in.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, now we're taking a closer look at the 37mm automatic air defense gun designed by Comrade Katya. Nate, our project manager on this build, does come with 2 custom minifigures and a whole bunch of cool play functions. So let's talk a little bit more about this Soviet Bofors, basically.
It's literally a Soviet Bofors. Like, they saw that the Swedes had that, like, yes, mine now.
That
and
looks
then they
pretty
made this.
good.
And since the Bofors was such a good design, it wasn't really much a surprise that other countries, especially bigger, stronger, scarier countries, were just going to copy it. And it has a lot of functionality, designed by Katya, and it definitely has a lot of similarities to the Brickmania Bofors from way back when.
Yeah, sure.
Because, both guns were exactly the same.
Yeah,
Not even
right.
talking about the builds, it's the same gun.
I love the Star Wars look to it. I mean, it definitely looks like something that we perched on top of the Death Star or whatever. You know, that you can tell that they modeled a lot of those guns after that.
I don't want to say Death Star, but no.
Fair enough.
Feels. Actually, if anything, it kind of reminds me more of like one of the CIS droid cannons from Clone Wars.
There you
like
go. I can dig that.
Oh wait, copyright. Never mind. But yeah. Anyways, it's got room for two.
Pair of seats there.
Yeah, you gotta move this up and forward so you can fit the minifigs. Got a little turny turn. This goes on and down. It turns. You can kind of move these up and down.
Yeah, that carriage has got kind of an interesting, almost suspension to it.
It does have suspension. I recommend. Yep, that. But anyways, it's supposed to be on mobile because it's supposed to be shooting fascists from across the Volga River. And this one was based off of like a women's anti-air regiment. I forget
correct.
the name.
But that's where we dive into the minifigures.
Yeah, we get two. One has a cracked tooth. I'm probably pointing to the wrong one. So this one instead, I don't know.
Nope, you were pointing to the right one.
Okay,
You're good.
this one, yes. We get Dental Dame and
Serious Susie, yeah,
yes,
right.
that. Maybe I shouldn't point the gun at them.
I like the face artwork on here though, bringing some character.
Yeah, there's
to those
a
builds.
lot of there's a lot of character in these two faces. I'm kind of sad we didn't name them, but we never name many.
Well, it's fun for mock building though. You can name them yourself once you've got the set in hand.
Yeah, but true. But I'm not creative. I'm a designer. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, no. Yeah, Lando did a great job on both of these. Like it's more or less just like the Soviet uniform, but just sort of in a gray tone rather than a dark tan one, and it came out really nice.
Yeah, it's another one of those examples of a very simple uniform looking like so much more once it's actually printed and on the figure.
Yeah, printed on the figure, and also just putting it on a different background also makes it gives it a bit more character.
Absolutely.
But aside from that, it's a pretty simple, fun build.
Yep, there you have it.
It's great for like either Soviet mocks, because I know there's like one story where it's like one of these positions held off the Germans, and when the Germans realized, they're like, oh, you're all females. Okay, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, sure. A little bit of a shot to the ego there, I suppose.
It's like, hey, yeah, we're the guys. Hey, yeah, we're the gals who took down like your whole column. So have fun with that knowledge.
Yeah, do with that what you will. So, and just like with this, now available on brickmedia.com. No pre-order here. This is ready to be picked up. Nate, thanks for checking in. All right, and as we move on to our standalone minifigures, the craziness of this week has left nobody untouched, which puts Landon working in the Civil War era as well as the most modern conflict within the exact same week, which is a ton of fun. So we have kind of an interesting minifig segment here because we do have the planned minifigure for this week, which is Dr. Mary E. Walker, the only female Medal of Honor recipient. Very cool story behind her and her heritage as or her history as a Civil War surgeon. Make sure to check out some more on that. And then we also have the Ukrainian Rifleman, which is part of our Project Ukraine. And so obviously these are hot off the presses, like literally probably the first two that were done in production. So, and they do come with that perfect caliber brick arms AK grenade launcher, which is awesome.
That's right.
So sorry for talking so much.
No, it's all good, man. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about. You want to start with Dr. Mary E. Walker?
Yes, that's totally fine.
Just a nice, simple suit, and that's kind of like one of the things that she was known for is pioneering that. It's like movement into a more practical kind of surgeon's outfit and bucking the trends of having to wear a dress kind of thing. It's like if you're in a practical setting like a surgery room, it's obviously you need to be wearing something that is appropriate for that setting. So
right.
Really pioneered a lot of stuff like that, and really just I think faced a lot of really crazy stuff. Check out the story behind all of this stuff.
Pretty
Obviously.
incredible. Basically, so like I said, she was the only female of Medal of Honor recipient, and then at some point they took it away from her, technically, like along with a bunch of other people. But then Clinton gave it back to her in the 90s, which, if you know about Mary Walker, she probably didn't care when they took it away from her to begin with, because she's kind of a rebel.
Yeah, check out that story. So as far as the figure goes, a nice, simple kind of suit outfit here. We got that Medal of Honor right there displayed, and just a nice kind of display piece with some cool history behind that as well.
Definitely something that should be captured and something that fits very well into Women's History Month. Moving on, Project Ukraine, Ukrainian Rifleman.
Yes, man, this has got to be one of our faster turnarounds in recent years. it's kind of like from concept to hey, it's for
Reality.
sale.
Yeah, right.
Reality. Well, he just designed and off the printer in record time here. So, obviously a team effort on here, team effort all around, and that was cool to see that get out the door so fast. Obviously going to a good cause here, so let's just dive into the minifigure. You want a little bit of a review here?
Yeah, right. You got a little help on the camo.
Yes.
But then other than that, tell me how it all came together.
So this is a camouflage. It is specific to Ukraine and their uniforms. It's just really interesting looking at Ukrainian gear. It's just this weird mix of NATO stuff, of Russian stuff, of their own stuff, Israeli stuff. It's all over the place. It's obviously it's like no wonder that it's such a contested area because it is like it is a melting pot. It is a mixing pot area there. So and that's totally reflected in their uniforms and their equipment.
That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unreal. We opted for the starting at the top. So going back to the camouflage here. A friend of mine, I've known him for many years, and he's just at a lot of the conventions. He goes by Detroitica on Instagram. Check him out. He is a computer whiz of some sort, and he figured out an algorithm to generate a very close approximation of this Ukrainian camouflage here. So he teamed up with me on this one, and we came up with a nice minifig version. So shout out to him. Check him out on Instagram. It was nice to see this kind of go from like, hey, do you need a hand? And I'm like, sure. And then now it's just like this minifigure here. It's like 2-3 days.
Well, another awesome example of people donating their time from within
Yep.
the AFOL community to make this happen. So very, very cool. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. So that camouflage, it's an interesting camouflage, pixelated, and it's just their own unique kind of color pathways, just distinctly theirs, which I love seeing a country having their own distinct camouflages and not just like multicam, although they do use multicam quite a bit. So do the Russians. So it gets kind of confusing when you're trying to look at different uniforms, hence this yellow armband. So it's since the Ukrainians and Russians such similar uniforms in a lot of cases and equipment, they've resorted to this armband identification, which is just that's almost like Civil War era kind of, or even it's like this seems like a kind of an old school way to tell what side you're on. It's going back to color coding.
Not much time to prepare, but yeah.
Right. A lot of the gear that you'll see in Ukrainian forces would be, again, a combination of NATO stuff, of like Soviet stuff, their own stuff, or just kind of commercially off-the-shelf equipment.
Sure.
Just kind of keep an eye out for that when you're looking at their gear. On here, I opted for their own. I think that's produced in country boots, like combat boots. They've got that nice brownish, almost a plum color boots, which is kind of interesting because I thought it sort of matched nice with this AK-74 that comes with this minifigure. So there is it got a plum tinge on that hardware and the furniture there and that gun, which I swear it's a real thing. It's this purple plum color.
It's just kind of a dark wood almost.
Yeah. So at a glance, in a lot of photographs, you'll be looking at this this rifle, and it just looks black at a glance. But oftentimes you do see kind of this plum color to it. So
those perfect calibers look incredible.
Iconic.
I mean, wow.
Just another mix of Soviet weaponry and just more modern stuff. Simple plate carrier. It kind of just in a contrasting color. Again, you'll see a huge mix of different uniforms and camo schemes, but this seemed to be kind of covering all the bases, more of a simple loadout. But again, like since they're waging a defensive war, this loadout super simple. It's like 2 mags, maybe like a med kit or something, and that's it. They have their supplies there with them, so it's very, very simple, sparse loadouts that you'll see. So, man, what else?
I don't know. What else is there
take
to
another
go
look at that AK GL by Brick Arms, and then with our own perfect caliber treatment. I'm loving that kind of deep plum color. Turned out nice. The grip itself, I don't know if you can get a close-up look on the grip of that gun.
Oh yeah, it's got some texture there.
Yep.
That's
If
cool.
you're familiar with the rifle, that should stand out to you. It's cool. It's cool.
Well, considering the speed at which all this stuff came together,
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty impressive endeavor, and obviously, once again, a great example of the AFOL community reaching out to help make this as effective a project as possible. So there you have it, Ukrainian Rifleman, available now on brickmania.com. Landon, thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
All right, so that'll just about do it. Thank you once again for your support of Project Ukraine. And remember, we do still have those grand openings right around the corner. The 9th in Miramar, which is San Diego, California, and the 16th at Mare Island, which is the Vallejo, California location. Make sure to mark those on your calendars because, like I said, exclusive minifigures, exclusive brick badges, t-shirts, posters, all that cool stuff. It's going to be there. Not to mention Landon, Mary, Dan, myself, all turning up to shake some hands and say hi to people. So we're really looking forward to seeing you all there. Talk to you on Monday.